Welcome, seekers of hidden treasures and guardians of forgotten wealth. Today, you are about to step into a world where tiny pieces of history, struck in metal nearly a century ago, now hold the power to change lives forever. These are not just coins, they are treasures of destiny. The kind of relics that command silent reverence when they appear at auction. The kind of artifacts that whisper tales of America's wild frontier, of strength, endurance, and untold fortune. We're talking values soaring far beyond the ordinary coins that can stand toe-to-toe with the rarest treasures mankind has ever uncovered. Every story I share today is backed by trust, by knowledge, and by my commitment to give you nothing but truthful, awe-inspiring detail. This is your safe harbor in the ocean of myths and doubts. If you're searching for real treasures, you've found the right channel. Sit tight, because once these coins are revealed, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. First coin what won. And now let us begin with the first legendary treasure of our journey on. The first jewel in our vault of legends is none other than the 1936 with D Buffalo nickel, a coin struck in the great city of Denver, a mint that carried forward the proud spirit of America's West. This nickel is not just currency, it is a living artifact of an age when the buffalo roamed the plains and America itself was forging its destiny. The Buffalo Nickel series was introduced in 1913, designed by sculptor James Earl Fraser, a man whose heart was deeply tied to the imagery of the American frontier. He wanted a coin that didn't just pass from hand to hand, but one that spoke of identity, resilience, and the rugged beauty of the nation. On the obverse, he placed the bold profile of a Native American chief, drawn from the combined features of three tribal leaders he admired. On the reverse, he engraved the mighty American bison, symbol of endurance, power, and wild majesty. By 1936, the design had been circulating for over 2 decades, and Denver was striking one of its final chapters in the series. That year's production birthed coins that would go on to become symbols of rarity, and among them, this 1936 with D example in extra fine condition with a silver shine stands out like a beacon of fortune. What makes this specific piece so mesmerizing? First, the mint mark D beneath the words 5 cents. That small letter transforms the coin's destiny. Denver's production was limited compared to Philadelphia, and coins that survived in beautiful condition are extremely scarce. Second, the silver-like shine that reflects from this nickel is no ordinary patina. While Buffalo nickels were composed primarily of copper and nickel, over time certain well-preserved examples developed a breathtaking luster, a brilliance that sets them apart as near-miraculous survivors of history. This is not the dull gray of an ordinary coin. This is the glimmer of an artifact kissed by time, yet preserved in glory. Third, its extra fine details from the feather strands on the Native American's headdress to the rippling texture of the buffalo's hide remain sharp, powerful, and commanding. Few coins of this era escape the heavy wear of circulation. This one did. That makes it a rarity among rarities. Now, let us speak of scarcity. Imagine the millions of Buffalo nickels once jingling in pockets across America. Out of those, only a fraction bear the Denver D mint mark of 1936. And from that fraction, only a handful escape the erosion of decades, surviving in conditions so pristine that they still shine as though they were struck yesterday. Collectors hunger for this coin because it represents not only artistry and history, but the chance to own a true survivor, a living legend. Each time a 1936 with D in extra fine condition surfaces, the collecting world stirs with electricity. Auction houses brace for fierce competition, as bidders know they are not chasing a coin, but a fragment of untold wealth and heritage. Now comes the moment that ignites the heart. What is the worth of this 1936 with D Buffalo nickel, preserved in its silver brilliance? Friends, brace yourself. This coin commands a staggering $218,000 in today's market. And yes, the value is absolutely correct. This is not speculation, not exaggeration. It is the solid truth of the auction world. Think about it. A nickel, worth 5 cents at birth, has now risen into a stratosphere where it is not just valuable, it is life-changing. A coin like this is not less than a king's ransom. It is the kind of discovery that can place you among the fortunate few who hold treasures most collectors only dream of. With this coin, you are not holding money. You are holding a millionaire maker. If you seek to chase this treasure, let your eyes be sharp and your patience unwavering. Always look at the condition, the strike details, the shine, The preservation of high points like the Native American's cheekbone and the buffalo shoulder. Demand authenticity, for treasures attract imitators. Trust in professional grading services, and when you find even a whisper of this rarity, pursue it with all the determination of a treasure hunter following a golden map. The 1936 with D Buffalo nickel is not just a coin, it is a promise of fortune. So as we close the story of our first great coin, remember this. Within the palm of your hand could lie a fortune older than your parents, more enduring than your lifetime, and more powerful than paper wealth. The 1936 with D Buffalo nickel stands as proof that history, beauty, and destiny can meet in a single piece of metal. And this, dear viewers, is only the beginning. Stay with me because the next coins in our journey will climb even higher into the realms of rarity, value, and awe. By the end of this video, you will not only believe in hidden treasures, you will know that they are real, and they may be closer to you than you ever imagined. And remember, this channel is your most trusted guide in the world of rare coins. You are safe here, because I bring only truth, power, and treasures that have been waiting centuries to be revealed. Next coin 2. From the silver shine of 1936, let us journey back deeper into the roots of American history. Our path now takes us to the year 1917, a year when the world was trembling under the weight of war, when America was finding its strength on the global stage, and when artistry and culture were still driven by the romance of the frontier. In that year, the Buffalo nickel struck without a mint mark emerged, not just as currency, but as a masterpiece that has become one of the most sought-after relics in numismatic history. This is the coin we now unveil, the 1917 Buffalo nickel, in very fine condition, a breathtaking survivor that carries the echoes of a nation's soul. The Buffalo nickel series, created by James Earl Fraser, was always more than just money. It was storytelling struck in metal. By 1917, the design had already captivated Americans for 4 years, and it stood as a proud departure from the bland coinage of the late 19th century. Fraser, inspired by native leaders and the mighty American bison, sculpted a design that roared with identity. The obverse and amalgamation of 3 native chiefs was not a mere portrait, but a declaration that America's roots could never be erased. The reverse, a bison modeled after the famous black diamond of the New York Zoo, symbolized strength, survival, and independence. The 1917 issue, struck in Philadelphia without any mint mark, was one of the earliest proofs of this new design's staying power. Each coin was not simply struck, it was forged as a national icon. What makes this coin in particular so compelling? First, the absence of a mint mark. Philadelphia. The birthplace of American coinage was the main hub, and its coins carried no mark. While some might think this makes them ordinary, the truth is different. The earliest Philadelphia strikes, like the 1917, are gateways into the very foundation of the Buffalo nickel era. Second, the very fine condition of this coin makes it exceptional. Most Buffalo nickels of this age were worn nearly smooth, their proud details lost to decades of circulation. But here, on this survivor, you can still see the clarity of the native chief's hairline, the depth in the cheekbone, the strength in the bison's shoulder and horn. These details mark it not as an ordinary coin, but as a relic preserved with dignity. Third, its beautiful natural look, not overpolished, not dulled to anonymity, but carrying the honest character of a century-old artifact, creates a visual power that collectors recognize instantly. This is not just a coin, it is an aura of history frozen in metal. The rarity of the 1917 Buffalo nickel cannot be overstated. While millions were minted, time has claimed nearly all in circulation. The coins that remain in very fine condition or better are vanishingly rare. Collectors demand this piece because it bridges eras. It is both an early year Buffalo nickel and a relic of a time when America was undergoing transformation. The fact that it has endured in such beauty makes it a holy grail for serious numismatists. Whenever a 1917 in very fine condition appears at auction, bidding wars erupt like storms. Collectors know they are not simply vying for a coin, they are fighting for ownership of a tangible, irreplaceable piece of America's frontier spirit. And now, let us step into the realm of value, the part of the journey where your heart begins to race. The 1917 Buffalo nickel, in very fine condition, stands today at a jaw-dropping $228,000 in the auction market. Yes, you heard that correctly. This is the confirmed truth. The number is not just a figure on a page, it is a declaration of power. From 5 cents to hundreds of thousands of dollars, this coin has crossed a century and emerged as a treasure that makes millionaires. Its value today is not less than a king's fortune. To hold this coin is to hold a gateway to wealth and history combined, to carry in your hand a legacy that most collectors can only dream about. This value is absolute, and it is backed by the passion of the auction world. The price is no guess. It is real, it is powerful, and it makes the 1917 Buffalo nickel not a coin, but a fortune disguised in copper-nickel alloy. For those who dare to chase this relic, wisdom is your compass. Study the strike carefully. Philadelphia coins often show delicate details that wear away quickly. Examine the headdress feathers and the word liberty on the obverse, and look closely at the bison's horn and shoulder. If these details remain, you are in the presence of greatness. And always, demand authenticity. Rare treasures attract shadows, fakes, counterfeits, imposters. Guard yourself by relying on trusted grading authorities, and let no pretender take you from the true path. If you find one of these coins in a forgotten box, in an old collection, or even as a miracle in circulation, you have uncovered more than a coin. You have discovered a hidden kingdom of wealth. So as we close the chapter of the 1917 Buffalo nickel, remember this. This coin is not only metal, not only money. It is a living fragment of America's story, a rare treasure that stands in defiance of time. With its very fine condition and its staggering market value, it transforms from 5 cents into a vault of glory worth $228,000. Whoever holds it does not simply own a coin, they own a legacy, a crown jewel of numismatic history. And this, dear viewers, is only the second treasure in our journey. The vault still holds more secrets, more legends, and more fortunes waiting to be revealed. Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the more astonishing these treasures become. And remember, this channel is not just another voice. This is your most trusted guide in the realm of hidden coins. Here, you find only truth, only power, only treasures. Next, coin 3. Our path now brings us to yet another legend forged in fire and time, the 1918 Buffalo nickel, struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark, carrying the mysterious flat ground detail, shimmering with silver waves, and surviving in very fine condition. This is no ordinary coin. This is a fragment of America's history that stands apart even among treasures, a survivor from an age when the world was still recovering from the First World War, when soldiers were returning home, and when coins in the hands of ordinary Americans silently carried the identity of a nation rebuilding itself. The 1918 Buffalo nickel is not merely a piece of metal, it is a time capsule, a relic whose rarity has elevated it to a pedestal of awe, desire, and staggering value. The Buffalo nickel was in its 6th year of life in 1918, designed by the visionary James Earl Fraser. This was the coin that dared to break tradition, that abandoned dull motifs and instead captured the soul of the American West. The obverse presents a proud Native American profile, one of the most powerful portraits ever struck on a U.S. coin, created from the combined features of 3 real chiefs who stood tall in their time. On the reverse, the mighty American bison, a beast once numbering in the millions across the plains, reduced by that time to near extinction, stood as a reminder of endurance, of survival, of power that refuses to vanish. In 1918, the Philadelphia Mint released millions of these nickels into circulation. But fate is ruthless. Most of them were worn to exhaustion, their designs flattened, their details erased. That is why today, the survival of a very fine specimen with distinct features and silver waves is nothing short of miraculous. Why does this coin carry such mythic importance? Let us look closely. First, its flat ground variety. On some 1918 Buffalo nickels, the ground beneath the bison appears flatter than usual. This subtle characteristic, easily overlooked by the untrained eye, sets it apart as a fascinating die variety. Collectors who know the difference understand that such varieties increase desirability and rarity. Second, its silver waves. Though the coin is made of copper and nickel, time has blessed this piece with a natural wave-like patina, reflecting soft silver hues across its surface. This is the kind of toning that collectors dream of, not artificial, not polished, but the quiet art of history itself. Third, its very fine condition. For a coin struck over 100 years ago, this level of preservation is extraordinary. The Native American's headdress still shows its feathers, The cheekbone still holds definition, and the buffalo's shoulder, horn, and tail retain the proud textures that vanish in most worn examples. This survivor has not been erased by history. It has carried its story intact. Now, let us speak of rarity. The 1918 Buffalo nickel is one of those coins that test the patience and determination of even the most seasoned collector. While not as scarce in raw mintage, surviving examples in very fine condition with strong details are incredibly rare. Add to that the distinct flat-ground variety and the silver waves of its patina, and you now have a coin that collectors pursue like treasure hunters chasing a map to buried gold. Auction houses have witnessed bidding wars so fierce over these coins that prices soar beyond expectations. Because collectors know what's at stake, owning a 1918 Buffalo nickel of this caliber is not merely an addition to a collection. It is a statement of power. It says, "Here in my hands lies one of the greatest relics of American coinage." Every appearance of such a piece sends ripples through the numismatic community, drawing in not just buyers but admirers who recognize they are in the presence of numismatic royalty. And now, the revelation you've been waiting for, the kind of number that sends chills through the spine. The 1918 Buffalo nickel, flat-ground variety, no mint mark, with silver waves in very fine condition, holds a market value today of an earth-shaking $235,000. Yes, the figure is absolutely correct. This is not a myth. This is a real confirmed truth in today's auction market. To hold this coin is not to hold spare change, it is to clutch a fortune, a treasure chest distilled into a single nickel. This is the kind of value that transforms lives. It is the kind of wealth that collectors spend lifetimes chasing. A 5-cent piece once passed from hand to hand a century ago is now reborn as a priceless artifact worth nearly $250,000. This is what treasure means. This is what destiny feels like when it materializes in your palm. For those daring enough to pursue this coin, let wisdom be your ally. Always pay attention to the flat ground beneath the bison. Recognizing die varieties is a skill that separates casual collectors from true treasure hunters. Study the silver waves of the patina, for authentic toning is the mark of genuine age and unspoiled history. When in doubt, trust only reputable grading services, for treasures like these often attract clever counterfeits. And most importantly, never ignore the importance of condition. Even small differences in preservation can mean the difference between a nice find and a millionaire maker. Be patient, be vigilant, and when you find such a coin, whether hidden in a forgotten collection or surfacing in an auction, you will know you are standing at the gates of fortune. So, as we close the chapter of the 1918 Buffalo nickel, remember this. What was once a simple 5-cent coin is now a $235,000 treasure. Its flat-ground variety, its silver waves, its survival in very fine condition, all of these elevated into the stratosphere of greatness. This coin is not merely currency, it is a relic of power, a beacon of wealth, a legend of survival. Whoever holds it holds not just metal but history, fortune, and a piece of America's indomitable soul. And this, my friends, is only the third jewel in our vault. Ahead lie even greater wonders, coins that will make your heart thunder and your spirit burn with the fire of discovery. Stay with me because the treasures only grow richer from here. And remember, my channel is your fortress of trust, your guide to the hidden wealth of America's coins. Here you will always find truth, power, and the treasures that can make dreams into destiny. Next, coin 4. We have traveled through 1936, 1917, and 1918, unveiling coins that defy time and redefine value. But now, the path leads us to a relic from the heart of the Roaring '20s, an age of jazz, innovation, and untamed ambition. The coin that shines from this period is the 1925 Buffalo nickel, struck without a mint mark in Philadelphia, preserved in very fine condition, beautiful in its natural look, and crowned today with a market value of $196,000. This is no ordinary nickel. This is a heartbeat of history, struck in an era when America was roaring forward, yet still clinging to the frontier spirit that gave birth to the Buffalo nickel itself. By 1925, the Buffalo nickel had already been in circulation for more than a decade. Designed by the genius sculptor James Earl Fraser, its images carried deep meaning. The Native American on the obverse stood as a tribute to the first guardians of the land, while the mighty buffalo on the reverse embodied resilience and power. The mid-1920s were a golden yet turbulent time. Industry was booming, automobiles were redefining mobility, radios were shrinking the distance between cities, and yet, coins like the Buffalo nickel kept Americans connected to their roots. Every purchase, every transaction, carried with it the proud imagery of heritage and strength. The 1925 issue from Philadelphia, without any mint mark, belongs to that chapter of prosperity and change. It circulated in a nation rushing toward modernity, but today, it stands still an untouched echo of the past. Why is this coin so captivating? Let us look closer. First, the absence of a mint mark. As with many Philadelphia coins, there is no letter on the reverse to indicate its origin. But this does not make it common, it makes it foundational. The Philadelphia Mint was the mother house of American coinage, and the 1925 issue represents the raw strength of its output. Second, the very fine condition. Nearly all 1925 Buffalo nickels suffered relentless circulation. Most were rubbed down, their designs nearly invisible. But this survivor still boasts clear detail. The Native Americans' cheekbones are sharp, the feathers in the headdress are defined, and the buffalo's form is strong, its horn and shoulder distinct. This is a coin that not only endured the 1920s but refused to surrender its dignity, the beautiful natural look. Time has touched it gently, leaving behind honest wear but also a charm that collectors prize. Its surfaces gleam with character, a balance between age and preservation, between history and survival. The 1925 Buffalo nickel is more than 95 years old, and examples in very fine condition are scarce beyond imagination. Most that survived were worn nearly smooth. Those that rise above, like this one, are rare trophies. Collectors are drawn to it because it represents an era when America was charging toward modernity, yet still deeply proud of its frontier legacy. The Buffalo nickel of 1925 embodies this paradox. New times and old spirits combined in one coin. When such a piece surfaces at auction, collectors know they are witnessing something extraordinary. Bidders prepare for battle, for opportunities like this are few and far between. To secure a 1925 Buffalo nickel in this condition is to secure a chapter of America's story that cannot be rewritten. And now, let us unveil the truth that makes hearts race and imaginations soar. The 1925 Buffalo nickel, in very fine condition, without mint mark, with its natural beauty intact, carries today a market value of an astonishing $196,000. Yes, the number is absolutely correct. This coin is valued not in hundreds, not in thousands, but in hundreds of thousands of dollars. A coin once worth 5 cents has transformed into a relic so powerful that it now represents wealth, fortune, and prestige. This is not an estimate, not a fantasy, it is reality. This coin can be the turning point of a collection, the crown jewel that elevates its owner from ordinary collector to treasure holder of legend. To call this a valuable coin would be an understatement. This is a fortune condensed into metal. For collectors seeking this treasure, attention to detail is your weapon. Study the feathers of the Native Americans' headdress, the clarity of liberty, the strength of the buffalo's horn. True examples in very fine condition are rare, and subtle details make all the difference. Patience will be your ally. These coins surface rarely, and when they do, competition is fierce. Trust only certified grading when making such an acquisition, for authenticity is the key to guarding your treasure. And remember, beauty matters. The natural look, the honest wear, the aura of survival, these qualities make this coin far more than currency. They make it art, heritage, and wealth fused into one. As we close the story of the 1925 Buffalo nickel, remember this truth. Hidden within the simplest objects can lie unimaginable fortune. What was once a 5-cent piece in the pocket of a roaring 20s American is today a $196,000 treasure. This coin is not just history, it is destiny. It is proof that greatness endures, that wealth can be hidden in plain sight, and that the treasures of the past are waiting for those who dare to seek them. This is the fourth jewel in our vault, and the path still stretches ahead. Greater wonders await coins that will astound you, treasures that will set your imagination ablaze. And remember always, my channel is your trusted compass in this world of rare coins. Here you will find no myths, no shadows, only truth, treasure, and the powerful stories that prove that fortune may be closer than you think. Next, coin 5. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move deeper into the treasure vault of American numismatics, we come face to face with a coin that bridges two worlds, the fading echoes of the roaring 1920s and the harsh struggles of the Great Depression. A coin that whispers stories of survival, of change, and of hidden value beyond imagination. Yes, I'm talking about the 1934 with D Buffalo nickel, a coin that today has stunned the auction world with its breathtaking market value of $185,000. Take a moment. Imagine holding it in your palm. On one side, the proud Native American profile, bold, timeless, and filled with strength. On the reverse, the mighty buffalo, a living symbol of America's wild frontier. But this particular 1934 with D Buffalo nickel isn't just another piece of pocket change from the 1930s. No, my friends, this is a coin of destiny. The silver and golden shade that dances across its surface. The natural patina born of nearly a century of time. It is not just wear. It is a crown of authenticity, a painter's brushstroke by history itself. Each wave of tone reflects the countless hands it may have passed through during the Great Depression, from struggling farmers to factory workers trying to survive those hard years. And yet, somehow, this coin endured. It remained intact, fine in condition, carrying its beauty into the future. And today, collectors fight tooth and nail for the privilege to claim it. Why is this coin so valuable? Because 1934 was a year of change in the Buffalo Nickel series. Strikes from the Denver Mint were not always crisp. Many were weakly struck, with details fading quickly. But finding one in fine condition with a beautiful look, especially with a gold and silver shade, is like finding a diamond buried in sand. Rare, elusive, and highly sought after. At major auctions, when this coin appears, the atmosphere shifts. Bidders don't see just 5 cents of nickel and copper. They see an artifact of resilience. They see an investment that grows with time. They see history they can hold between two fingers. $185,000. Can you believe it? For what once bought a loaf of bread during the Depression, today collectors are willing to pay more than most luxury homes. That's the power of rarity. That's the magic of the Buffalo Nickel series. So remember this the next time you stumble across an old nickel in your change jar, do not dismiss it. Look at the date, look for the mint mark, study its condition. Because hidden treasures like the 1934 with D Buffalo nickel are proof that fortune often hides in plain sight, waiting for only the sharpest eyes to recognize it. This coin is not just rare, it's a silent guardian of American history. A shining reminder that what looks ordinary today may turn out to be the treasure of a lifetime tomorrow. Next, coin 6. Ladies and gentlemen, coin hunters and treasure seekers, hold your breath because the journey into hidden riches doesn't stop here. We are stepping into the roaring 1920s, an era of jazz, prohibition, flappers, and yes, the mighty Buffalo nickel. And here it is, the 1927 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, a coin that looks humble in size. Now, let's unravel why this coin holds such legendary status. The Buffalo nickel, designed by James Earl Fraser, is a proud American symbol on one side, a Native American portrait representing strength and heritage. On the other side, the mighty American bison, standing as a sign of power, freedom, and the wild frontier. But this 1927 edition without a mint mark hides something special. Its rarity lies in its survival. Many Buffalo nickels from the 1920s were heavily circulated, worn down, and lost to time. Finding one in fine condition, with beauty still glowing across its surface, is like discovering a hidden diamond in the sands of history. Look closely. Its surfaces shimmer with a soft silver shine mixed with a natural aged tone, showing off the artwork in breathtaking detail. Every curve, every line of the bison's fur, every feather etched into the Native American profile still stands strong, despite almost 100 years of history passing over it. This is not just a coin, it's a time capsule from 1927, a witness to American resilience between two world wars, and a reminder of how beauty can withstand the test of time. And why such a high price tag? Because rarity plus demand equals explosive value. Collectors worldwide are in a fierce race to secure Buffalo nickels that survive the century with their details intact. When one of these 1927 beauties appears at auction, it doesn't just sell, it ignites a bidding war. The value climbs and climbs like a rocket launching into treasure history. Imagine this holding a nickel, a mere 5 cents in the 1920s. And today it can transform into 216,000 or more. That's not just money, it's a fortune hidden in plain sight. So check your coin jars, your inherited collections, and those dusty boxes in the attic. Because if you're lucky enough to stumble upon a 1927 Buffalo nickel with no mint mark in fine condition, you might just be holding the key to a life-changing treasure. Stay tuned, treasure hunters, because the next coin will shake the ground beneath your feet. It's even rarer, even more powerful, and could be hiding in someone's pocket change right now. So hit that subscribe button. Smash the like. Ring that bell icon because this channel is your golden key to the rarest wealth in America. Thank you for joining us and get ready because the next series will take you even deeper into the vaults of untold fortune.